Adaptation refers to actions taken by people living with the adverse effect of a natural or man-made environmental problem to live with or reduce the impact of the problem. With particular reference to climate change, adaptation can be regarded as an adjustment in natural or human systems in response to actual or expected climatic stimuli or their effects, which moderates harm or exploits beneficial opportunities. Precisely, it is defined by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, 2001, as adjustments in ecological, social, or economic systems in response to actual or expected climatic stimuli and their effects of impacts. This term refers to changes in processes, practices, and structures to moderate potential damages or to benefit from opportunities associated with climate change. Adaptation can also be defined as all changes an individual makes in order to adjust to a changing environment. Adaptability is the degree to which adjustments or modifications are possible in practices, processes, or structures of systems to anticipated or actual changes of climate. It is a measure of the resilience or resistance to negative climatic stimuli as well as the coping capacity of a community or nation. Coping capacity is usually considered as a subsystem under adaptation. It refers to the degree to which systems or practices can be adjusted or modified to respond to changing conditions. Adaptation is influenced by the quality of the resistance and resilience of a system. It is also affected by the readiness of a given system to act on the potential opportunities for adaptation. Adaptation takes place at all levels in society, from large-scale interventions that are driven by governments and regional organizations to the autonomous actions taken by threatened communities and individuals. Appropriate adaptation requires access to current understanding of the potential physical and socio-economic changes which are or could occur as a result of climate change, design and implementation of effective responses to the challenges and opportunities arising from climate change, coordinated action by all stakeholders, including those at the local level, reliable information and guidance on actions that may be taken to increase the resilience of vulnerable communities and individuals. Across the world, adaptation to climate change varies and reflects the site-specific nature of the impacts. Adaptation to climate change varies and reflects the site-specific nature of the impacts. The nature adaptation could be anticipatory, reactive, private and public, institutional and regulatory, research and educational, development assistance for capacity building, autonomous and planned adaptation. Change adaptation is quite different from disaster risk reduction, DRR, which essentially aims to reduce socio-economic vulnerabilities to disaster as well as dealing with the environmental and other hazards that trigger them. However, there is a lot of overlap between DRR and climate change adaptation activities, but DRR also includes reducing vulnerability to non-climate related events such as earthquakes, tsunami, and volcanoes. Adaptation to climate change is important and necessary because climate change is already happening and substantial impacts in the future are inevitable. Successful adaptation will require individual as well as collective action at the community, national and international level in order to reduce the direct and indirect impacts. Examples of climate change adaptation can be seen in Jordan, where climate change is currently exacerbating water scarcity and rainwater harvesting. Water reuse and permaculture are adaptation measures already in use to tackle the problem. In the Limpopo and KwaZulu-Natal provinces of South Africa respectively, women are adapting to climate change to accommodate socio-economic and environmental changes by diversifying their activities from homestead gardening to income generation activities to generate cash income and partake in decision-making on how to spend the cash, and this has shifted the power relations in the provinces. In the developing countries, the priority of adaptation plans should be on the high vulnerable systems to climate change. Therefore, the high vulnerability of agricultural sector puts it in the top of priority list of any adaptation plans. Accai-unn has embarked on study visits to a number of climate change impacted sites and also conducted action-oriented research on climate change adaptation measures in parts of Nigeria.